What's going on, guys? My name is Tarun Shetty. Welcome to the ConvoSutra here on a fantastic day with our usual panelists. And we've got a special guest panelist sitting in. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, guys. My name is Nausheen, Ahmed.
Welcome to ConvoSutra.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're friends with Pritesh, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we were just talking about how we met. We met on Instagram, but we don't know how or why.
I feel like that's your backstory with everybody.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
I'm supposed to go out with this woman in New York. I always say women now. She's friends with you. And I was like, how do you know her? And you're like, I did some shoot with her like 10 years ago. I'm friends with her.
She played my wife in a short film like 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, so you really have no inside information? You're like, no, I know nothing.
Yeah. I do meet, and it wasn't like we met for any, like it was during COVID.
Yeah. Yes.
And everyone was like sitting at home, and she was doing a bunch of dance choreo stuff with our friend Rishi. Shout out to Rishi, who's on Life of Pi tour right now. And that's how we met. And I just liked her ideas, and she thinks quite differently. And I appreciate having conversations
And
with
you're
her.
an actress, right?
Yes.
And a model and a dancer.
Dancer, I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, actress, producer, model, yeah.
That's pretty much everybody in LA.
We wear a lot of hats.
Yeah,
I mean, you're on the show. You're kind of an actor and model. And
I'm not acting.
she responds to other acting stuff that happens. What was the film that you made that was at all the festivals? What was the name of it again?
Pandal, yes.
Yeah, I remember you were making it, but you acted on it, but you also directed it, right?
No,
Or
I
did you
didn't
not
direct it. I produced it and
Was it in
acted.
Hindi or
Yes,
English?
Hindi.
So what made you want to make like a Hindi film here?
It was, the idea was to make it in English, but the dialogues were not landing right. So we just changed it to Hindi.
I thought about doing like a different language. Like I'd be like, it'd be kind of cool to make like a Gujarati short. Do you feel like the story is told better in a Indian language?
Well, the character is Indian. So the English dialogues were just not landing right.
I do feel like sometimes like English, we don't have enough words that resonate to describe emotions.
like, as opposed to what?
Like Hindi or other languages, like there's certain languages, even certain words I say in Gujarati, or if you talk to people that speak Spanish all the time, they're like, I don't know what this word means. I can't find the translation in English. There's a lot of stuff in Gujarati you don't translate well.
Could you give me an example?
They're curse words, so let me skip those real
Yeah.
quick. What's a Hindi word for like bekar?
Bekar is a Hindi word.
Yeah, so how would you, what's
useless.
Useless.
Yeah.
Kind of though.
Kind of,
Not
yeah,
really.
yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
But it doesn't land right.
It doesn't land right. The emotion's not behind it.
Is Hindi your first language?
Yeah.
Or do you grow up in?
Saudi Arabia.
And you moved here to be an actress?
No, it was a whole different
Let's hear
thing.
it. Let's hear how you got here. Give us a little backstory.
So Dad had two options: either go back to India or we come to United States. We lived in Saudi Arabia, where the lifestyle is very much similar to America. We were spoiled kids, and Dad was like,
So you're rich. Okay.
"Okay, I'll take it."
Yeah.
In Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia.
You did really well.
Yeah, we did really well.
I'm just joking around. With a lot of sarcasm. Just
No. Tarun, she's rich.
Yeah.
So continue.
And Dad wanted a better future for us. And he was like, United States is very much similar to Saudi Arabian lifestyle, the food, the climate, people. So we're here.
You mean the Saudi
surprised
Arabia
to hear
lifestyle
that.
then? Not now.
Not now.
Yeah.
Why are you surprised to hear that?
Well, climate, food, lifestyle.
Food, yeah. We had a maid, we had a driver in Saudi Arabia.
Sounding different. It's good.
Hold on,
sounding
Jasmine has a
different.
driver.
Wait.
A maid
No,
too.
I don't think
So what's your driver?
You're like, only one maid? I have two maids.
No, I don't think anyone. This is very interesting because I don't think anyone would think of Saudi Arabia in the way you just spoke about it. So this was 90s?
In the 90s, but still, I had to wait for my dad to take me out to a stationery shop.
Did you have to wear a full
Yeah,
burqa?
I was
Oh,
fully
dang.
covered up.
What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't like it. I had to wait for a man or either dad or brother to take me out to just
Chaperone.
Yeah,
I did comedy in Riyadh.
that's where I grew up. Yeah.
Oh my God. So, anyways, she can speak more to it, but all I know, I went with the military. So they gave me a tour, and there were people with 9/11 carpet selling, like they were celebrating 9/11.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. And they showed us like Chop Square where they like,
It's there. It's
yeah,
still
where
there.
they like, it was like chop off arms or hands of steel, fingers.
Every Friday after 12.
And that changed my whole perspective of world politics when I came back. I was like, okay, so
We're doing all right here.
Yeah, you're not in like Dubai or something. Okay.
No,
Okay.
Riyadh.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty
when
hardcore.
you compare the conservative way that you might have been raised to how liberal it is here, especially LA, like what are your thoughts on that? Because you've seen like literally two different worlds. I mean, they're very different. LA is also like super far compared to even compared to the rest of the
The rest
United
of the
States.
country.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to see what do you feel about the super liberal coming from and also have seen and grown up in it ultra conservative.
So from Saudi Arabia, we moved straight to New Jersey and New York.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
A big cultural shock. And I went to a straight girls' school, a private school. So when I moved here, I had to go to public school where there are boys sitting right next to me, and I'm this awkward, shy girl. Like,
and you're not covered up anymore.
No, and that I felt naked, honestly,
Yeah.
without that burqa or abaya, that's what it's called, and just wearing I felt very naked, and a dude is sitting right next to me, and I'm just in my zone, shy to talk with a boy. And then I got my first job at Dunkin' Donuts. I did not know how to talk to men.
Saudi Arabia to Dunkin'
By the
Donuts.
way, Nausheen pulled up here with Dunkin' Donuts. I was so excited. I was like, Dunkin' Donuts, right? She was like, the straw. And I was like, I'm from the East Coast. I totally
I'm from
know.
East Coast. I'm a big Dunkin' Donut girl. And the first time the manager placed me at the cash register and I had to take an order, it was a dude.
Oh, you worked at Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah. I had issues looking into the eyes of a man to take an order. I'm like, what do you want?
That's my life day to day nowadays. Women don't make eye contact
Yeah,
with me.
and then when the
Jasmine
transaction...
has never made eye contact with me
I'm always
directly.
carefully avoiding.
Yeah, she's always avoiding. But is it also because you, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know, but is that considered like wrong to look on when you don't have that? Like, were you raised not to look a man
I
in the
was
eyes?
raised like that.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. It's my household. I don't know how it works in other Muslim households, but I was raised in a way where you don't look into
You're
men's
Muslim,
eyes.
this interview's over. All right.
Yeah, you do not look
Only-
into men's eyes when you talk. You have to.
Even
Look
as
down.
a kid. Even as a kid. And
As a female, they were trained. I don't know if training is the right word,
Yeah.
but my mom and dad were training me in a way to be this elegant, graceful lady. Speak softly. Don't look into men's eyes.
Mission
and,
accomplished. You are graceful.
Yeah, you are very graceful.
Soft-spoken.
You ever since you've been very soft spoken and graceful. You're very opinionated.
He told me you were opinionated, but if I met you on the street, I wouldn't think you're an actress. I would have thought you were like, you do something more low key. Like, 'cause actresses, I got to watch your reel. I watched some of your stuff on Instagram
Watch
yesterday.
my film.
What inspired you to get into acting?
I was always into acting. Like, living in Saudi Arabia, there was no entertainment. There was no swimming class or after school classes, right? I go to school 7 in the morning. I come home at 2. We have a lunch. We take a nap and we do our homework. And during summer holidays, there was not much to do for 2 months.
Yeah.
So I used to dress up as different characters and entertain my mom. And my parents did not like the idea of having sleepovers or meeting my classmates. Everything was at home and my mom was my
You can't even have
audience.
sleepovers with like girlfriends?
You can, but my parents were very strict. It's like nothing good happens at sleepovers. That was their
Really?
yeah.
Damn.
Because they had brothers.
I see.
Well, I mean, actually, a lot of parents today still have that view. American parents will not let their children go over for sleepovers.
I mean, I probably have different rules for a daughter compared to a son.
That sounds regressive.
Talk about me.
Were you allowed to, as a female, to go for sleepovers?
If my parents had really known who that friend was, yeah, then I could sleep over, or they could come sleep over at my house.
It's so funny because like I look at kids today and like I look at my childhood and it was so much free. It was freer than what it is now. And I'm like, we lived in this utopia.
Did you have the rule you came home when the lights turned on at like in the street lights? That was my mom's rule. Do whatever you want, just be home when the street lights.
Dude,
turn
we
on.
had no rules. We had no rules. My parents were like, do whatever you want. Well, we were good kids, so we would come home. But it was almost like this different generation. I mean, I feel like now versus back then.
But was that, you were in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
It was just super safe.
Yeah. I mean, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Laguna Hills. So it was also super safe. So it was super safe. So we were out playing in the parks and the streets and yeah.
I mean, it's still fairly safe. It's just
it?
that it's just fear mongering. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
look at crime rates from 1970s and now, there's less crime now. And so the thing is, you hear about every single crime. So
Yeah.
it feels like the world's ending.
I can't even look at the news now.
There's nothing good comes out of it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
I check her Instagram sometimes. I'm like, oh my God.
I do post it.
I'm like,
I do
I'm
post
trying to
the
get away
news.
from this stuff.
Yeah, but then the rest of it's just like Abhishek Bachchan and what did he wear on the red carpet, right?
That's a different Instagram.
Yeah, well, that's the one
My
I
personal
forgot to
Instagram is
vote.
the one that traumatizes people.
Yeah, I'm good.
Do you watch the news, Nausheen?
No, not anymore. It just puts me in a bad headspace.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we put you in a good headspace.
Yeah.
But do you do you practice? Like, are you still practicing?
No.
No. So then, because my question is, if your parents were that strict, what are their thoughts about you now with like print and modeling and like some of the, because your Instagram's
Dancing.
open and you have a lot of like bikini photos and
Yeah.
things like that. So how do your parents do like?
I mean,
Oh,
at
I gotta
first,
get on this.
at
So you
first,
really didn't do your homework.
Bikini photos.
yeah, because even the dance you do is like,
It's
what
very-
type of dance is it?
it's dancing in heels, so it's very sensual.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
sensual
Feminine.
dance. I know. So you do all these things.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever talked about how your family actually.
My
feels.
mom is on Instagram. My family is on Instagram,
So
and
what do
it's-
they feel?
my mom is like, "Go, girl."
They're over it now.
Yeah, she's like, "I want you to do the things that I was not able to."
So you're representing her
Yeah.
dreams too, in a way.
Yeah.
Cool. And how about your dad?
My dad he knows, but he just is living in
Pretends
a
he
very
didn't see it.
delusional land. Like, I don't know what she's doing.
Do you guys think Indian parents now, because they're almost, I mean, look, I would be a dad if I was normal, but do you think,
Pause real quick. That's hilarious. If I was normal.
but do you think like today's generation, are they more liberal with their kids versus?
Depends where you grow up.
Correct.
My parents in San Diego, super liberal. My parents' family, traditionally, like in the Bay Area, no. Way more strict.
I see you as like a cool dad.
I'd be cool. I'd be a strict disciplinarian, though.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah, because I was raised that way too, and I think the one thing I've learned for sure through my own practice is that true freedom comes through discipline. Without discipline, you just have chaos. It's not freedom.
Correct.
I
Did
agree
you do
with that.
mantras?
I agree with
no,
that.
Dad.
No, mantra is like you gotta participate
Yeah.
in sports. You gotta live
Yeah.
up to your word. You gotta bust your butt and stay in shape and get better, be skilled and do it properly. My dad was really strict, and it teaches you a lot of grit, not giving up. Doesn't mean don't go enjoy life and stuff. Yeah, but I find a lot of parenting to be very chaotic. Kids have no focus. They're not goal oriented. People are like, they're just being a child. Yeah, you should, but there needs to be some gauge of like pursuing something or getting better and growing. You know.
What do you think, Jasmine?
In regards to
In regards to raising children, do you think you think parents today are more lenient?
Are we talking about Indian parents?
Yeah, Indian parents.
I think it does depend actually where they're raising them. If they are surrounded by an entire brown community, maybe not. But you know, in some of these like pockets here in California and stuff, I think it's also reflected in our own like Hindi cinema or even South Asian stuff here. Is that it is quite liberal now.
Were your parents lenient with you?
No, my parents were not lenient with me. Lenient compared to some of my Indian friends, I think. Like I didn't have strict dress codes, and my parents are not religious, so I kind of didn't have those.
Did you have a boyfriend in high school or college?
No boyfriend in high school, absolutely not. And then college, I did what I wanted, but nobody knew, and I'd be in trouble if they knew. And then I moved to New York when I was 21, so they were like pretty cool, but I had really strict expectations for school, grades, reading. My dad would assign me reading, on all sorts of like crazy nonfiction things, and so they had high expectations of us, but they didn't micromanage us.
One of my parents thought I was a loser. They didn't even like expect me to have a girlfriend.
There's no way. That's ridiculous, bro.
Well,
Maybe
I went
they
to
just didn't
boarding
wanna
school
know.
too. I guess in middle school.
All three of your brothers seem to do all right with the ladies.
I don't know. Do they? I do okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the other two are married, so I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
so how do
say
I
much
know?
now. But I'm saying
It's definitely changed though, from back then to now.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay, you said this last time. You're saying that it was you were cleaning up in your 20s.
You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to hear.
No, no.
Just stay silent.
okay.
She's taking it in. You're saying that when you in the 20s you cleaned up now, but don't you think it's also because
I didn't say I cleaned up. Did I say I cleaned up?
he cleaned up?
Cleaned up.
I didn't say he said that.
You got all the girls
No,
back in the
no.
day. No, she
That's
didn't.
your
We really
verbiage.
Yeah, that's my
did?
verbiage.
That's your interpretation.
But now, isn't it because you've changed? Like you don't put up with shit. You're not chasing. You don't care as much.
It's not a game thing. I really do believe that. I really want to just be successful, and I want to put everything into my career, and girls will come secondary. And this comes from mistakes I made in the past where I
Yeah.
put women first. I feel like I wasted decades of my life
Yeah.
trying to help women in LA. You know?
How do you feel about that, Nausheen?
I see where it's coming from.
What do you mean?
this damage that ladies have done.
Ooh, damage.
What damage?
I mean,
Are you talking about like modern feminism?
yeah,
What are your thoughts on that?
it's screwing up a lot of things. Instead of uniting, I just see there is so much disconnect.
Between what? The genders?
Yeah.
You think feminism is the...
Modern feminism is going to some extreme level. It has become wokeism, in my opinion, honestly.
I think, then it's not really feminism. Because feminism is about the equality of the sexes and the genders or whatever.
Yeah, but modern feminism has not been portrayed in that way at all.
What does that mean?
It's been, I would say, you mean what does modern feminism mean?
Yeah,
I
what
would say
do
the ways,
both of you guys mean that it's...
I would say how it's portrayed
wokeism
probably in
a
like
bad way?
social, the way social media at least portrays it. I know that may not have been the original goal of it, but I think a lot of it now is like, it went from, if it's empowering both sides, that's one thing. A lot of times the modern one is just like, I love Tarun smile.
I love how you have an opinion on feminism.
Well, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, you read about everything all
Yeah.
the time.
Well, we read about it from a lot of, some of the worst voices.
Well, the worst voices are some of the most popular on everything.
Correct.
That doesn't mean that they're having an actual impact on what it is, And so I'm curious if there's something that you find, both of you find in modern feminism.
I would
that
let her
is
speak because she's a
not
woman.
empowering.
How about me? I have an opinion too. You think I'm an idiot over here?
No,
Yeah.
we'll get to our opinions
opinion.
after.
No, I want to hear your opinion.
I want to hear your
I
thoughts.
want to hear her. She's a woman.
Because I have guy friends and girlfriends, and I hear both sides of the stories in terms of dating and how modern feminism that they are pretending is just damaging relationships, this whole hookup culture. I don't want to put up with his shit. I'm independent. I don't need a man.
So you think they
Super-
should be more dependent on men?
Absolutely not. I think there should be a balance. I personally feel like women nowadays are competing with men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there should be a balance.
Women are competing with men.
In relationships? Or in the workplace? Or
Not workplace, it's just because I see it live in front of my eyes with my girlfriends. I'm better than him. He doesn't need to provide. I have a 6-figure salary. What is he bringing to the table? He's not emotionally available.
That's kind of the problem I see on both sides, where everyone's comparing and fighting.
Yeah,
instead of working
men too.
Guys say the same
Guys say
exact
the
thing.
same
What is she
thing.
bringing? I'm like, what do you mean? What she's bringing to the? when you
become
have
more
that
transactional?
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. But
I've
I
been
wouldn't
guilty
blame
of-
I wouldn't blame modern feminism for that. I think it's this, endless choice buffet that we have through online dating, and we don't feel a pressure to get married. We don't feel a pressure to move out of our parents' house and move in with a man and quickly get married, right? Because we have our own incomes. So I wouldn't blame feminism for that so much as just
I'm confused. So, do you guys think women being independent is a problem for relationships?
No, it's not. But there are some men who do not like when women is making more than them.
That's
Of
on the
course.
dude.
a
Yeah.
lot of men don't.
Yeah.
I'm insecure for sure.
You're telling me so you couldn't handle a little girl who makes more money?
I probably could.
It also comes in waves.
supposed
There's
to-
times where it changes.
I was supposed to go to the surgeon,
yeah.
and for sure she made more money than me.
Yeah. You just said surgeon, bro. Yeah.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can go into this fine. I'm fine financially. Do I feel as a man? I've never been in a relationship where the woman's made more money than me. So I was going into it like new territory. And then she ghosted me, so I was like, whatever.
Well, there you go. You got your answer. I think the question that happens now because things have changed. I mean, I've been having this conversations actively, personally, but like it's always like the other question, right? How do we share? What is your idea of sharing resources? Like, what does that
Yeah.
mean? Do we have one account? Do we have separate accounts? Do one person do this? Do we both contribute equally? How does contribution work? Like, what do you think is fair? How does it work if you involve children?
Yeah.
And to me, the way I am, my thing is like, if I marry you, is my stuff's your stuff's my stuff. That's the way I never look at
Really?
anything. Yeah, 100%.
We're so different.
Oh, 100%.
I want to hear your thoughts. though.
100%.
I'm with him. Yeah.
If I marry
Let me ask you
you,
a question. All right.
no, hold on. Let me just clarify one. Are you you're saying you're so different as far as like bills or sharing money, or what do you mean different?
I'm saying if I get married and at any point anybody can walk out of a relationship.
Yeah,
You just don't
any
know.
point.
In fact, it's 50-50, right?
What if you got a prenup to protect you
Even
from what you
prenups,
said?
some of them don't hold up after
After 10 years, they don't. Yeah.
We sign after duress. You can make all these arguments. So a girl who's completely broke can walk in here, walk out with half my assets, half my money.
That happens to most men.
I know, absolutely. It's happened to a few of my friends.
Yeah.
I brought it up loosely, but it's all based on experience. So now it's like, I almost welcome it when they're 1 week more than me. I'm like, terrific. You have your own stuff. You
But
know?
this is actually
Less
a
to
great.
worry about.
Yeah, but this is a great question. If you're worth like, let's say your net worth was really high net worth, 20, 30, 40 million dollars, would you, if you were in an intimate relationship, would you avoid marriage to not involve the government in that situation?
Why can't you just have like a wedding, like a pretend wedding? Like have the friends, the party.
I agree with you. Like a
and not-
spiritual
and not
thing.
sign a contract.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Well, I think there are certain benefits that come from being married in terms of like tax stuff. And that's
come
minimal
on.
maybe, but it also is like, hospital visitation rights.
She is right
and,
about that. It's like insurance.
Life insurance
Yeah.
beneficiary who's making these decisions and stuff. So there's some benefits to being married legally. But I'm extremely pro prenup, and I actually don't believe in like an equal contribution so much as an equitable contribution. So if someone is a doctor and someone's a teacher, then you should be kind of paying towards the household proportionally to your
100%.
income.
That's what I meant by that. That's what I meant by. So I use the wrong word, 100%. And also, like, if you decide to have children and the wife's going to predominantly be staying, then it's your job to handle it, all of it.
Or whoever the, less successful spouse is, right? If you married that surgeon and you guys had kids, maybe you'd be taking a little bit of a career break.
Or maybe we hired some nannies. 'cause
Maybe you guys would hire some nannies.
You just hire people.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd look at it. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna. You have the money. It's like,
But
let's hire
some,
people.
Some men are actually now okay with kind of taking a more low-key position at work and helping more with the kids.
Yeah, we're not as good as the kids.
All I'm saying is like the sanctuary of marriage. I don't know if that is as rock solid as I'd like to believe. I've just seen so many people change over time.
Look at the stats. I mean, they back you up.
But I'm also crazy, and I acknowledge that. Like I'm kind of psychotic in that regard. So like, yeah, I'm cool in the first 6 months. After 7 years, you're like, holy shit, I'm married to this guy. I
Yeah,
gotta
but
put up
we're
with
all
this.
psychotic. I think when you're intimate, when you're sharing, when you're intimate with someone, you're seeing all the sides that you don't show anyone else.
Yeah.
But you can't hide from your partner, right?
Yeah.
I think Viola Davis said it really well. Marriage starts when you wake up in bed. She goes, when I look at my husband and I want to kill him. That's when my marriage started. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't stand this guy.
Nausheen, what's your opinion
On what?
on marriage? Do you think it's rock solid?
It is rock solid if you marry the right partner.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good one.
And what would you consider a right partner? Like, what does that mean
First-
for you specifically?
First, as a female, I gotta know who I am, like my likes and dislikes, and I just cannot be this fake person to make that guy fall in love with me.
Okay.
Right? What I have noticed is when you're dating, right, the first 3 months, you're just trying to be cool, trying to pretend to be this person so that the guy likes you, right? Once the mask comes off and the real life hits,
Thank you, sister.
the real life hits,
Turns
the
like
dude is
Kevin
like, wait, what?
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? And the relationships break off, right? And in a marriage, first 2 years, it's fun, it's hot, all right?
Ooh.
5 years, yeah, it's hot. Like,
Jasmine's
yeah,
outfit.
it's
Wow.
great.
Right now, you know?
It's hot. You're having the time of your life. Then life happens, right?
Wow.
And that's when the true character comes out. Like, how do you deal with issues?
Children,
And then
finances.
correct, finances, and how do you show up for your partner when the partner's parent dies,
Yeah.
right? That so if you can make the marriage last past 5 or 7 years, you're good to go. Your
They
marriage
always
will
talk about the
last.
7-year drought or
Yeah.
7 year. There's a
7-year
Seven.
itch.
a 7-year
seven
itch.
itch.
And it's kind of true. So many of my friends are in long. It's always around 7 years. They're like, we
Yeah.
almost broke up. We had to go through counseling.
I saw some stat and for men, between 40 and 50 guys go through the most pressure because they spend the most on their kids, like 233,000. That was the number. But also your parent dies in your 40s, so you got to pay for like parental expenses and all this pressure. And it's your last wave of making the most money, like 40 to 50 or something. So men like kind of break in that span.
I guess that's what leads to that like kind
Yeah.
of prototypical like midlife crisis, the guy in the Corvette and
Yeah.
younger wife.
It is true, yeah.
And astrologically, it's your second Saturn return.
Ooh.
What is it?
The Saturn return.
What the hell is that? Saturn return.
It's usually like the pivotal thing. Like they always say it's spiritual too. You're not really an adult till you're 30. But Saturn return happens like 28 to 30, where it's like the biggest test. It creates the most tension. to see what type of character you have. And so when it happens around every 18 years, so it's why a lot of men in the 40s, a lot of women too, but men specifically, we talk about like the midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And you'll see that a lot. It gives you that feeling of like, what am I? What am I doing? What have I? Especially it'll affect you a lot, just life, if you haven't been aligned with your purpose. Which is you're doing something that you're not passionate about, you're in a marriage that you don't like, you're doing many things that have gotten you far, and you might be externally successful, but then you just get over it. The problem is a lot of people don't correct. They just double down. So they're like, I have the car right now, I'm going to buy a Ferrari. So they just think a new car is going to solve it, but that was not the point of it.
I still feel like a kid sometimes. You ever feel like that?
Same.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe because we're all unmarried and
On a podcast?
untethered,
On a Monday?
But I think there's a part of it, like,
sitting on a podcast
if
together.
you define kid in a way, it's like what we've all been striving for, like at least from a spiritual part. Like, what does it get curious?
I was not striving for this. I'll be
No,
honest.
but I'm just saying when you say kid, but when I think of kid, I think of someone who's curious, open, like enjoying,
Adventurous, yeah.
interested, like wants to learn new things, is curious about the planet. Like in that way, I want to be kid like my entire life. Because it's people that aren't like that. You know, when we meet, like, when you meet certain people that are older, 70, 80, and you're like, how are you so youthful? Like, their vibe. They love life. They're taking salsa. They're learning a new language. They're still curious about the world, man. They haven't just, like, settled and given up. And I feel like most of society settles and gives up, usually in their 40s and 50s. I have friends who are in their late 30s, have just settled into life, and there's no youthfulness left.
You know, actually, there's a lot of really interesting research coming out of like neuroscience on this and how, you know, what you surround yourself with, the types of people, and if you know, like for instance, they'll have a bunch of old people in two groups, and they'll have a group of old people who have photos of them being old and with their grandkids and looking old or whatever. And the other group is all photos of themselves from when they were like younger and hot and whatever. And over time, the group that's with their younger photos, they start to like stand up a little bit taller, have fewer aches and pains. They kind of have quicker
Makes sense.
recall because it kind of takes the brain back to that time period. And I do notice that because I have friends in their 30s and 40s, and
This is what you read for fun, by the way? You read these
I
neuroscience
do
magazines?
actually. Whatever. Shout out Dr.
She's like, he
Swat.
canceled my date, but I was having a good time. Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly.
exactly.
And I'm learning. And
You canceled a date?
no,
I'm just joking. I made stuff up with Jasmine. I don't know
cancel
what to think about
all
it.
my
sorry.
dates to
Like,
come
I
to
like-
ConvoSutra.
It's more interesting than the neuroscience magazine you're talking about.
Well, basically, what I was gonna say is that sometimes I have friends in their 30s who are like, "Well, now in my 30s, I don't do this," and they just
Straight
sound
up.
old, and they kind of look old, and then they start dressing a little old.
They give up on life.
They kind of, and then they're just like, "We're in our 30s now," and then some people are like, they don't. It's never come up.
Yeah.
They just kind of keep the same energy, even if they have kids, and what they kind of, oh, I'm energetic, and I have these, you know, double dates, and we're traveling here, and we're, you know, I'm learning this, I'm reading this.
It was
And
actually also connected to that study was where they did. I read something very similar about people who are obsessed with celebrating their birthdays.
Yeah.
Because
It's
Are you obsessed with celebrating your birthday?
hell yeah.
there's a thing because when you think about the age all the time and what's approaching, it's the same effect because you start feeling older and you're thinking about the next year and it like so it becomes. I know we celebrate because we like celebration. I think we all enjoy that, but when it's obsession, it can get obsessed with age, and a lot of people dread it. Like I have a lot of friends who, when they have their birthday and they're like that 1 year has gone by and they're like, what did I do this year? And now I'm this old, and like it's actually the pictures is the birthday cake, but at home there's a lot of grief. Because it's like one more year of not doing what I want to do or not pursuing where I want or these goals. And there's actually a lot of sadness they sit with and it ages them a lot. Yeah.
What do you do for your birthday?
It depends on my mood, but usually I try to make an international trip.
First, that's ridiculous.
Depends on my mood.
Or a resort, sometimes just
So where'd you go? What was the last trip?
it's a secret place.
North Korea?
No.
This is just like raising.
Yeah, we're back to Saudi Arabia. I was sitting
Oh
with the
hell no,
prince
no.
and hanging out.
No, it was a resort. I don't want to drop the name. I'm gatekeeping that.
Oh, is that good?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's that good. That one just to just connect with myself, decompress. That or the last time, what did I do? I went to New York.
You're always in New
Remember
York.
Yeah, my family is in East Coast, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there or Spain.
Yeah. I don't celebrate my birthday at all. I don't even put it on Facebook.
You should.
I don't
No,
have,
maybe he shouldn't.
That's why it looks young. Do you like?
Why
What do
you
you
look young?
celebrate? Like honestly, like what do you?
What do I celebrate?
Like when's like
Halloween.
today's like a
Kwanzaa,
celebration?
Ramadan.
Memorial
You
Day.
celebrate Ramadan?
No, but like, do you celebrate when you have a good set? Do you celebrate milestones on that? Like, I really
Celebrate. Dude, I don't believe in fun. I
That's
think,
gonna
such a
age you.
carrot.
Such a liar.
what's the point of it?
You're a comedian.
Can I tell you something? I know, but comedy's fun. Actually, that's fun for me.
Yeah.
I do it because it distracts me. I was thinking about like hooking up with women actually. All right, you hook up with a girl and then she leaves and nothing was accomplished. You drop money. I was like, I could have done like a bunch of coke, same thing. Like there's no value from her hooking up.
You
So
think it's
You just
exact
compared
same
coke
thing?
with a woman, like a connection with
It's like a
a
drug.
real human being.
it's like no, I'm saying like a hookup, like a one night stand or something.
What?
I could see that being meaningless.
You know what I'm
That is
saying? Yeah.
meaningless.
That is
For sure,
meaningless.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the point I'm making.
Even as a guy,
Is
I could
that
say
you would
that's
have
very
rather
meaningless.
have done a bunch of blow?
I don't do drugs, first of all. I've never done cocaine. My dad watches this. I've never done cocaine.
Look, he's no matter how old you are,
You're the one who
Indian
brought it
kids,
up.
no matter how old you are, you're so afraid of your papa. You're like, you could be a grown ass man, and be like, Dad, I didn't.
I just don't think like when people are just partying and stuff, I feel like it's a waste of time. Like I'm sorry.
I
Once
agree
in a
with you.
while,
I
though.
agree.
Everything
Yeah,
in
I agree.
moderation. Like,
Yeah, but
it's nice to eat a piece of apple pie, once a year. It's not.
I just
Every
don't find,
day, it's
I,
not going to be as fun.
I don't find going to clubs fun. Like just
That's not
I know,
partying
that's why you didn't
necessarily.
come out with us.
I could be working. I could be doing stuff. I don't even drink, honestly.
I barely drink.
I went through that phase though.
I'm over the phase, but I think it is everything in moderation because if you don't have it's like you can't appreciate the light without the dark, you can't appreciate the taste of success without putting in some grit. And that's why, people who are handed everything to them don't really appreciate what they've gotten or what.
But I think it's different for everybody. Like, I agree. It depends on what it is for people. For me, it's like, I don't enjoy drinking much.
Do you enjoy having? He's saying no fun.
Well, he's different.
Well,
I have fun.
The fun for me
Fun's relative.
is building something, is finishing something, is getting somewhere. Like I look back, like I have more self-worth than that versus, hey, I just spent a bunch of money and hooked up with all these women. Like, who cares?
What about
this stuff?
dancing? Do you like to dance?
I used to love dancing.
So now we don't dance. Do you go to a Zumba class maybe?
A Zumba class?
Can you imagine Tarun in a Zumba? I would pay to watch
Actually,
him do
maybe we should-
Zumba.
I'm a great dancer.
I'm not saying you're a bad dancer. I would just pay to. I'm a good dancer too, but I'd pay to watch you.
We should have a dance off at some point.
We should do it. Let's go. I'll do some Michael Jackson.
Do you believe in fun?
Well, me,
She just told me she goes to a resort. She's not
my
willing to
fun
name
is
drop.
very different. I'm more of a lounge girl having deeper conversations with
About
people.
feminism?
Yeah.
No, but we
call
talk about
up.
everything. We hung out a few times and like
you
we
guys
just-
hang out? Okay.
not many times,
yeah.
but a few times
Yeah.
when we were like,
Dude, I feel like you're like a cult leader of like these women. Like people like gravitate toward you. Like you have like all this advice.
my name is Pritesh.
What does
It's
that
God
mean?
of
mean?
love. Literal definition on Google is
you're
Lord,
hooking
You're
up
the
with these
love
women?
guru.
it's the Lord of love is the exact definition. I know. I remember in college, it's like I'm like, it's not a pickup line, white girl.
You're like
It
the
actually-
David Koresh of North Hollywood. Just people flocking to your condo.
we should make a shit ton of money, man. The ConvoSutra gurus. They just put out a freaking like
No,
they did
it's
that.
you. I want
Yeah,
nothing
we'll
to do
do
with that.
I think, but I kind of enjoy that too. I like deeper conversations. I like going to restaurants.
Yeah.
That's my club. I like
Good
good food at restaurants.
good
I like good
Yeah.
food.
Yeah, so that I would do that any day. I like restaurants. I really enjoy sports and like hiking and active stuff. I love active stuff. Like my friends are playing a lot of golf right now. Golf's cool. I don't mind it, but I don't sweat. I like sweating and getting a view and playing tennis, going to the gym. I enjoy sports and participating, like any active thing. That makes me really
Yeah,
happy.
I like that.
I enjoy that.
I go to the gym every day because I feel like 3 years ago I was in the worst shape of my life. Everything was a mess, and I've rebuilt myself where I am. This through discipline, and I can look back like that's not fun, but it's something of value versus just partying or birthdays, eating apple pie. What do you do for your birthday, Jasmine?
What do I do for my birthday? I do celebrate my birthday. I don't ever feel like I am getting old, even though I am getting old. But I celebrate. It's a holiday. It's a holiday for me. It's a holiday for my loved ones.
Girls do like birthday months.
Dude,
It's not a whole month.
birthday.
My
That's
sister
I
has
do
a whole
that.
month.
I
you
do-
do that? That shit, we need to have a talk. That shit gotta go.
Exactly.
This birthday month
I
bullshit.
wouldn't want
It's a
other people.
birthday. When you celebrate it on a different day, that's someone else's birthday.
I'm with
birthday
that.
I celebrate on my
I
birthday.
love myself
That's
a
it.
lot.
Huh?
I love myself
We get
a
it,
lot.
resort, relax. But that's a lot. A birth month. I know people do birth quarters.
Oh, that's
Birth
a lot.
quarter.
It's my quarter.
It's my fiscal year. It's my birthday
I
fiscal
don't
year.
have a Jasmine. So what did you do for your last birthday?
Last birthday, I actually just had a group dinner. had a really nice group dinner. Lots of champagne, lots of Italian food.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
This year, you'll be invited. You might not want to come because it's going to be too fun.
It's gonna be too fun.
That's too fun.
Yeah. The
At
year
a gay
before-
club.
Yeah, I've had a birthday at a gay club, obviously.
Gay club or day club?
Gay club.
I've had a birthday
gay
at a
club,
day
okay.
club. I've had a birthday at this really fancy restaurant in Lake Como with my best friend because we were there a couple years ago. That was one of the best
That's
birthdays
awesome.
I've had.
I'll come to the gay club because I'll get free drinks. I'll come to that one.
I don't know. I like to celebrate it. I like to acknowledge myself.
You do birthday months?
No, I just get because it's right after 4th of July, so a lot of people are kind of already
Oh, so it's coming up.
it's coming up. Everybody,
Hey.
you'll see if you've made the list or not.
Yeah, we'll see.
Made the list.
You'll see if you're in the party full invite.
Well, do you?
We'll see if you beat Sachin Bath on the.
It's such a bad. Yeah. Besides clubbing, like, what are other things that you enjoy?
I enjoy a lot of things. I am a woman of leisure. I read a lot. I cook a lot.
Neuroscience magazines.
So do you-
yes, fiction, nonfiction.
When you say cook a lot, so you enjoy the process.
Yeah, weeknight quick cooking, I don't super enjoy it because
Okay.
I'm kind of like in work mode and gym mode. And then I like to cook a lot of Indian food. So that's a laborious process, but I enjoy it. I spend a lot of time with my dog. I actually cook for my dog. So I have to cook for him every other day.
That's
Which is the whole thing. But I spend a lot of time with him. We play a lot. We train a lot. I don't know. Go to the gym. I like to go dancing with my friends. Yeah.
See, I feel like women can enjoy their lives more. I feel like guys.
Why is that?
I feel like guys have got to just be on the grind.
I have.
Okay, Andrew
You
Tate.
realize that I'm
Why?
working.
Why?
I'm working
Are you
and
running
I have
away
a
from
podcast.
something?
So I was gonna go to New York, right, in 2 weeks. Like I was still looking forward to this. I'm starting a new hosting job, and my friend was like, she's like, oh, just tell him you're going to New York. Like, no, you don't understand. Like, I will be there for that job. But like females, or my friends I know,
Females.
that's why I corrected myself. I corrected myself. I don't like absolute
Hey,
statements.
let me correct him. All women. Continue. Continue. Let's talk about these freaking these hoes out
He's
here in
going
the
on
streets.
vacation. He's going to the jungle for
I'm
2
doing it
weeks.
I'm doing it to support my father's dream.
No, but I
Jungle. Oh, I need to know
But I
about
feel
that.
like a lot of the females that I know, not all of them, a lot of them, they just go on vacations like every other month, like London, Thailand, wherever the hell. And I'm like, dude, what the?
Well, the feminine was designed for more leisure than
And
the
they're working in LA too. And like, how the hell are you getting stuff
remote.
done here?
Remote.
Dude, you have
Everyone
to be,
works remote
You
now.
have to be
Yeah,
on.
I work remote.
Yeah.
Well, if you're in the arts here, you got to be moving. You know, like
No, but I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Dude, you are a super ambitious guy. You're incredibly disciplined, and you love work. So I think
Yeah.
for you,
it's out of fear, though. It's out of fear
but I think that's what Nausheen's going on.
What is that fear?
that I'll be replaced. You know, Jay Leno, I heard, host of Tonight Show. He was a host on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
The guy before him was named Johnny Carson. I know I'm dating myself. And he would have these guest hosts come in. Jay Leno never let anybody guest host for him. He was there like every night. And that's why he was number one. That's why he was there consistently for like over 20 years. So I feel like in this town, you kind of have to be, especially starting out, you got to like dig your heels in.
But don't you feel like that fear that's constant stress you're carrying? Like how?
Oh, yeah, but I thrive off stress. I would rather be stressed. What do you think?
That's coming from somewhere.
Anybody?
You see all our faces, and we're like,
No,
geez.
but it's deeply rooted from something. Thriving on stress.
My ambition to achieve. You can't be successful without stress.
No, stress
That
is
I
good.
agree with.
That I agree with. Yeah, but
That I agree with.
I don't know.
It's
It
a
depends on-
motivator.
It can be a motivator, but a constant state of stress is
Yeah,
not healthy
it's
at all.
not-
That's
No.
because that's coming from a life or death reaction, right?
You're
And
coming
nothing
from
that
a
you
place
do-
of lack.
Yeah.
correct.
We live in fantasy land here. We're not saving lives. You know how lucky we are to be on a podcast talking. I
Then
get
why are
to
you
host-
stressed?
Because I'm saying,
I mean, you're right.
I'm saying relatively to like
Yeah.
real stress, like doing a heart surgery or something. Like this is actually a cakewalk. So like, I'm blessed every day. I'm like, I get to come to this podcast. It's a Monday at 2:00.
But do you say that? Are you saying that intellectually when you say you're blessed, or do you feel gratitude within you when you talk about it? Because we talk about it, and then it's-
gratitude intellectually? What does that even
Okay,
mean?
this is what I mean. A lot of times we have that conversation, you'll say things like, you'll be like, it's hard, it's stressful, I don't believe in fun. You'll say all these things, right?
Yeah.
But then you'll say, I do have gratitude and we're lucky, da, da, da. I don't know which one you're feeling, because if you say you're feeling stressed, but you're thinking you should be grateful, or do you feel like that warmth in you?
Well, I am grateful to have stress. I'm like, honestly, like when I do stand up, it is stressful. It is so stressful to do like
Still? for you? Come on.
Absolutely, it is.
You've done it for so long. Is it stressful? You're not saying you're prepped. You know how to do your job well. Like, what do you?
Dude, if I'm performing for like 400 people and I have to do an hour and I'm getting paid money, it is absolutely stressful. Like, I can't even talk to people during the day. But like, I'm so grateful that I even, I put in the work where I can do that. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I am grateful for the stress of that. That makes sense to you. You disagree with me?
I don't know if stress is the right word, but it is if that's what you're feeling. I feel like I would say this. My acting coach one time told me, because I had this big audition and I was like, I'm so nervous. He goes, no, you're excited. Because it's the same emotion. You get the butterflies, you get all this stuff, but it's a different terminology, right? And when I started flipping the way I use that word, the whole process was different for me. Because he had a good point, because in the same thing for stand-up, it's like, I'll be backstage, I'm like, oh my God, it'll be easy to be like, I'm so nervous, there's so many people, you're hearing, and all the other comics before you're killing, and you're like, oh my God, am I gonna show up? And then I was like, dude, I'm just really excited right now. I'm super stoked. And the moment I say that, the feelings are the exact same.
Yeah.
I'm getting the heebie-jeebies, I'm getting a little sweaty, but I just say I'm super excited. And it's changed my whole process with everything.
The reframing of it.
Reframing it. It's because it's the
that.
wordage in your head is like, it really dictates how you look at life and how you move through it. So that's where I'm coming from with that.
What do you think, both of you, like, how do you use stress in your life?
Well, in my
She's like, what stress? What's stress?
I actually, it's so funny. Earlier in my kind of tech career, I used to get feedback not one but from two separate managers that were like, you're in a high pressure situation and yet you seem really like Hakuna Matata, on the outside. And so other people around you are so stressed that they don't think you're taking it seriously. But instead I'm just handling it. But they're like, you have to like have a show of camaraderie and show them that you're stressed. Like, just pretend. And I was like, it's corporate, whatever. But it actually so effective. There is a way to be like, I get it. It's so crazy that this hasn't happened. And,
Putting on the act.
If you put on an act, okay, that's the only acting I've done. And, so I understand, like, sometimes people feed off of each other's stress. But I do think reframing is important, because I used to always be like, I'm under so much pressure. And I would just always say that to myself at work. And it's like, no. I'm building something. Or it's not a perfect, thing, but sometimes it helps me just like, I have to meditate, or I have to just like go outside for a second, because it can really weigh on you. And then it's interrupting how well you're doing what you're doing, because now I'm not like in a state of creativity, or, if I'm like speccing out a new product or something, you do need some creativity. But if I'm just in like, super stress mode and so caffeinated and unhappy, then I can't really think about like, what could this look like?
What do you think of the stress in your life?
I don't take stress.
Oh, yeah?
No, it's not worth it for me personally, because the moment I stress, I break out into hives.
Oh.
You have like a visceral reaction.
Yeah. So no, I don't want hives on my body. I do not want to have high cortisol levels, because it affects so many things. Digestion, my sleep, not worth it.
But how do you manage it when it comes up? That's, I guess, is a
I
better
have to
question.
reframe my brain. Like, you're not dying. It's okay. This is temporary. Just deal with it and move on.
We should wrap up. Where can we find you on social media?
On Instagram. And the handle is NAUSHEEN_AHMED.
That's a woman who knows everyone's messed it up. She spelled it. She goes, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
My name is Pritesh Shah. You can find me at the Pritesh Shah.
You can find me at Hot Chai Pod on Instagram.
I don't think you just turned it on.
Yeah, she did. She got into it.
And you can find me at Tarun Shetty. Hey, please follow our Instagram page at the ConvoSutra. Like, subscribe, share. Send this to a friend. We also have a Patreon page if anybody cares. But please support, help get the word out. And we appreciate you. Oh, by the way, thanks for coming by.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thank you, both of you, for coming by, sharing your opinionated ways. And we will see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye.
Jai Shri Krishna.
JSK.
JSK.
Great. Thanks so much.